What is something someone has told you that will stick with you forever? My dad told me, "You'll never amount to anything and you'll be homeless when you're older." Now I'm making 6 figures, getting married in less than 2 years, and he works at a sock factory. Stop touching the dog like that. If you're a manager, you should never ask someone to do something you wouldn't do yourself. Not couldn't, didn't know how, etc. Take care of your nickels and dimes. The dollars will take care of themselves. It works. We sacrifice our health to earn money. Then forever sacrifice our money for our health. Relax. The news shows profit on your fear. Think critically. A girl once told me I have beautiful eyes and I've been riding that high for years. This is the universe without you. This is the galaxy without you. This is the planet without you, and they're all normal pictures of said things. Something about it just made me realize how insignificant all of this is. We're just cells and electrical signals that impossibly got the right planet and impossibly evolved. Just for this moment, and for what? The universe just exists, and for no reason. There's no plot or anything. Really humbling stuff. You're under arrest. It's clear that you are a talented writer, and I am pleased to offer you a position on our content bank team. Been supporting myself with writing ever since. My father once told me, if you aren't willing to teach yourself something, you have no business in learning it at all. He was talking about my brother. He had dropped out of college and was teaching himself how to code so he could do web design or some like that. Basically, my dad was saying that even though my brother hadn't stuck with education, he had chosen well because he hadn't wasted his time in college on something he didn't care about, but rather spent his time learning by his own means. I was told that I seemed to enjoy having cancer because I liked the attention. Nothing could be further from the truth. One flower dies faster than a bunch of flowers. One stick is easier to break than a bunch of sticks. My dad told me and my siblings this about sticking together. We're all adults now and we know we will always have each other's backs without judgment. We really got the point that it's important to stay together throughout our lives. If you don't ask, you already know the answer. Rosebud. You can't unfuck the nanny. Someone called me a douchebag once. I've been called an asshole, a cunt, and a motherfucker more times than I can count. But I was only called a douchebag once. I feel like I lack the ego and self-righteousness that comes with douchebaggery. That one particular insult stung. An older professor once told me that he was not the world's leading expert on ancient warfare, but that he was the foremost expert on how to pass his class on the topic. Seems obvious now, but it changed how I viewed teaching and higher education. We all live in different worlds. Helped me live in the understanding that all of our journeys are unique. I hooked up with this girl a while ago. We were just laying in bed after we finished and she said to me out the blue, "If you weren't so pretty I would have killed you by now." I left about 20 minutes after that and never spoke to her again. Don't be afraid of the dead. Be afraid of the living. You can never be happily married if you are not first happily single. One of these days that smart mouth of yours is gonna get your ass kicked. You're fired. Trigger warning. When my mom discovered I was self-harming, she told me I was doing it the wrong way and if I really wanted to kill myself I should have done it differently. In the 90s I was in Japan. Our guide was explaining how to use the bidet in our room and he told me to wink my sphincter when the water is activated 'cause it'll get my anus cleaner. He was absolutely right and I still do it to this day. How to use sticky notes. My mother talked me about suicide and why people do it at a very young age. Don't sweat the small stuff. You wouldn't have done it if it wasn't the right thing to do. Romance without finance is a nuisance. On so many levels.